Hey guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about research projects today. Quite a few people were not able to make it to our weekly Zoom meetings, and I still wanted to make sure that you received the information that you needed to be successful. So, our final research project, like when we do everything and it's all said and done, will be due May 27th. So, not until the end of the month, but not that far away either. So, a couple of the categories for your research project. This project, you can pretty much do whatever you want, whatever you're interested in, whatever you want to learn more about. Um, so, there were kind of three categories in which you could choose from, which was skill, create, or answer a question. So, if you chose a skill, or if you're thinking of choosing a skill to learn, that means that you're learning something like brand new, something that you're not familiar with, but you want to become familiar with. Things like you want to learn how to sew, like the basics of sewing, or you want to learn how to draw, or if you want to learn a new language, or if you want to learn how to fix something. You're learning a new skill that's going to make you a better person or something you want to be better at. If you're going to create something, that means like you're physically going to like get materials and you're going to make something. That means you have a little bit of experience with the thing that you've chosen. Like you're familiar with how it may work, but you've just never made something before. So that could be like a video game, like you're familiar with like a little bit of coding here and there, and now you want to kind of make a video game. I have some websites that can help you with that. Or I have somebody who wants to make like a birdhouse. Like that means that you have to go and make sure you have the materials to make that birdhouse, or you're able to get the materials to make that birdhouse, and you're actually going to go out and make it. Somebody who might be familiar with sewing already, and they want to make a piece of clothing now, like maybe they want to make a dress or a t-shirt, that's an option. Or maybe you already know how to draw, but you've never done a painting, so you want to create a painting. Um, and again, guys, these are just examples. You do not have to choose from this list. It can be whatever you want, basically. The last category was answer a question, and I think that was confusing people the most because they weren't sure what that meant. Answer a question means, anything. As long as it's not like a yes or no kind of answer, which means like you can't go into Google and just find the answer in 10 seconds and you're like, I'm done. That won't work. But like, say you want to learn more about the profession that you want to eventually go into, maybe after college or after trade school, and you want to know what it takes to become that. That's something that's kind of answering a burning question that you have. You want to know what it takes to become a marine biologist. Or maybe you want to know the science behind, I don't know, evolution, or the history behind cars, like how they were invented, or why does this work this certain way. Answering a question can pretty much be anything. And I made this project very open because I want you to choose something that you really enjoy and really like and that you want to share with others. So those are kind of the three categories you can choose from. If you're not sure if the thing you want to do is right or appropriate, message me and I'll let you know. I'm going through and I'm kind of seeing what you're choosing. That way, if I think it's maybe not the best idea, I can tell you before you get too deep into it. Or if I feel you need to kind of adjust a little bit, then I can give you feedback on that as well. Um, while if you're like creating something or if you're learning a skill or answering that question, take pictures while you're doing it, record videos while you're doing it, take notes, especially I think the pictures and the videos are really good if you're creating something. Like you can see the process of what it took to make it. Um, and also if you're learning a new skill, maybe if you're practicing a language and you're learning certain words, record yourself saying those words. I know it's going to feel silly. Or if you're writing down the words or you're trying to write sentences in a new language, take pictures of them because those will help you with the final project. If you're answering questions, like take notes, keep track of the things that were interesting that other people might want to know. But yes, definitely try and keep track of the things that you're doing because eventually you're going to come to the final project. that's showing what you learned. So I don't want to get too much into this because I feel like it might be a little overwhelming. So this part right here, this is what we're focusing on for the next 2 weeks, like this week and next week. Like, what do you want to choose? What can you look up and find about it? Start kind of, if you're creating something, start gathering what you're going to need to create it. Like if you're going to cook a certain food or bake a certain product, then make sure you have access to the materials that you need. And so in about 2 weeks, I'll get into more details about the final product. But the final product is where you're going to actually show what you learned. So say you were drawing a painting or you're creating a painting and you took pictures along the way of your process while you painted it. The final product would be where you're going to display all those pictures and your final thing that you created. So like you might make a website and it might have like the different pictures, and you kind of go through and explain what you were doing or thinking as you were creating the painting. Or if you were learning a new language and you wanted to do a Google slide, then what you could do is you could showcase all the different words or sentences you were able to put together because you learned the new language. Or if you wanted to make a video, you could record yourself talking in that new language as much as you could. Or you can create a poster where you display these things. I'll talk more about this in probably the end of next week because I don't want you to get completely caught up with the final product yet. I don't want to give you too much information, but I do want you to know that that's eventually what will happen. So real quick, I'm going to go to Google Classroom because I want to show you where everything is. And so right now I went into 7th period. I know a lot of y'all go through the stream, and that's okay because it shows you what assignments are there. But I really, really encourage you to go to classwork because it's a lot more organized. I'm going to drag this down here. So I have them in order by numbers, and I'm going to keep them ordered by numbers so that it doesn't get too confusing because I'm only going to have things under Passion Project for the rest of the year. So the first thing you should be doing is brainstorming. And this is kind of where I talked about the different categories and where I wanted you to brainstorm. And I talk about it in this video. But what could be a new skill you'd want to learn? What could be something you'd want to create? A question you want to answer? And then you eventually choose one of these things that you will research about. After you've done the brainstorming, the research is kind of just guiding you through what types of resources you may need, where can you find them, how do you know if it's trustworthy, and then what other information would you want to look up if you have the extra time. And the reflection, super easy. It's just asking you, what have you been working on? Did you use your time wisely? What was successful? What did you struggle with? If you have any new questions, and then what do you still need to do to make sure you have enough research done? And that's it. Those are the only 3 assignments that are due this week. I do have a thing in there called research logs, and it's exactly what it is. It's just a log where you can keep track of websites so that you can go back to them and find them easily. So you could just copy and paste a website and what information was found at this website. And helpful websites and resources. This is what I put in today, and it is just a website that I'm going to keep adding to, not a website, but a page I'm going to keep adding to based on what topics y'all are choosing. So I kind of went through already and saw some of your topics, and I tried to find some websites that I thought might be helpful if you're struggling with finding websites. And so like learning a language, Duolingo is really great. I use Duolingo because I'm trying to pick up Spanish again. Some people wanted to learn another instrument, but they don't have access to another instrument. So I did find a website that has like a virtual piano if that's something you wanted to do. The basics of sewing, the basics of drawing, how to sew a t-shirt, a little more advanced, building a birdhouse, making a video game, some recipe websites. This website is really good if you're looking into a career, if you want to do research on a career. It has a lot of information about different careers, how much they get paid, what kind of degree you need. Wondering Questions is a great website where you can find, the answers to a lot of different questions that you might have thought of or you might never have thought of. And then going back to what the final product will be, some resources here. But that's pretty much all I have for y'all. I know that was a lot of information, but you can always email me or message me if you have any specific questions or if you want to run your topic past me so I can let you know if you're on the right track or not. But that's all I really talked about today in Zoom. So if you missed it, this is basically what you missed. But again, guys, let me know if you have any questions. Remember that learning a new skill means you're going out and trying to actually learn it. Creating something means you're actually going to need materials to create it. And then answering a difficult question means like you're actually going out and doing research. So let me know if you have any questions. Again, everything that is due, 1, 2, and 3 is due this week. That's all. Bye, guys.